two of the things in this basic Python class. So that things are variables, dynamic typing, indentation, and we also make a calculator after variables. Now, a basic question is that what is variable? And a very simplified answer, if I give you, variable is nothing but a container which stores specific data. Now, that data can be string, that data can be integer, that data can be float value, and that data can be character. For example, this can be string, right? string. So this will be string, this character, float value, all this can be stored into this variable. So this is the brief introduction of what the variable is. Then let's move to the topic of dynamic typing. To show what the dynamic typing is, I will take you to the VS Code. So this is the editor, that is VS Code. Now here I have make a folder that is build coder Python. I also encourage you to make that and just try on your code editor also what we are going to try over here. So first of all, let me make a file. Let be the first .py. Name anything for right now. It's just a basic rough work, I can say. So now we are going to make a variable. So every variable have some name. So let the name be, for example, build. Right now, once you write build, after that, writing every variable before writing every variable, you should know what value you have to store. In every language, like in Java, in C++, you have to know that which I can say data type are you going to store. What is data type? So this string, float, integer, character, all these are data types. We told it as data types. So in writing variables, you should know that which data type you should be storing before writing any type of variable. In other languages, remind my words, in other languages, in Python it's not required. You need dynamic typing, means Python has inbuilt functionality of dynamic typing. Now let me tell you what the dynamic typing is. In Python, if you write a variable and if you don't know what to store in it, right, in Python, if you are writing a variable and if you don't know that whether you are going to store a string or a number or a float value or a double value, you don't have to worry all that mess, because Python will easily able to detect that what your value is. For example, if I write over here 1, so Python will detect that this will be the integer over here. So build data type will be integer. Then if I store string over here, let's say build coders. So Python will know that this string, this data is in a form of string, and this build will be nothing but is storing the data type of string. Then if I write something like number 9.0, so if there is a decimal value in a specific number, then we can say that it's a float value, right? So it will know that the data type of build is nothing but a float. So how can we experiment that? Now, to print anything in Python, you need just simple print function. It's a function. For now, just remember you have to write print, and in brackets you have to write what you have to print. So right now I am writing type, and after that I am writing build, right? So now let's see what's happened. Let me just tell you what this line means. So this line basically means print, means you have to going to print something. Where are you going to print? In your console window. I will show you where your console window is. And then type build means I want you to know that of what data type the build is. Is it string? Is it something like float? Is it integer or what? So let us explore that. So if I run this, it will be 1 minute. Yeah. So it will be float, as you can see. Now, for example, if I write 12 over here, and if I just run this file, it will be int, as you can see over here. If I write build coders over here. Then if I run over here, then it will show its string. Str means string, int means integer, float means obviously float. So what do print do? This is your console, means this is your terminal. So print is gonna to print xyz thing which are going to store between this bracket into this terminal. Now let me show you how it's like. Hello build orders. So this statement is there. Now let me just do it. So it will print something like this. Now if I also want variable to integrate with this, then you have to just have a comma and write build over here. What it will happen is comma is like you first write hello build orders. Comma is like space, means just stop, and then after variable. So if you want to insert a variable with a string in a print statement, you have to write something like this. And then if you run, it will run something like this. Hello build coders, build coders. So let me just convert this into welcome back statement, right? And if I just run it right now, so hello build coders, welcome back. Also some more fonting. So yep, it will look something like this. Now let me just progress you all to our next topic, that is indentation, right? So let me just move you through that topic. Now what is indentation? Now if I tell you to indentation is basically like spaces, means if I just show you what it is, see. So basically you have a big web page, means big code editor in your, and you are going to write some statement. For example, imagine this is your first statement. After that, you are writing that another statement, but you want that statement to run when only and only when this statement is running. Or in simple terms, if I say I want this to be the part of this functionality. To understand that better, let me show you through if else condition. Yeah. So imagine that if I am writing now in if else condition, how we should write. So how should we write it in Python? So let be build. Now let me store some integer value over here. Let build be 9. So if I tell no braces are required, if I just simply write, I want that if build is greater than 10, or I can say if build is greater than 8, right? Now after writing this 8, you should always, after writing the condition, you should always put colon. Now colon tells the if statement that to stop over here and to execute the another statement inside it. So now automatically VS Code leaves some space. Now what this space is, this space I am talking about. So VS Code has left this much space. Now why this space has been left? So this space is being left because to tell the terminal, or I can say the console, or I can say the compiler of Python, that the statement which we are going to write after this, for example print working, the statement which we are write after this is a part of this if statement. Now you will say, if you want to visualize it, see this one, means 1 minute, yeah, see this line over here. This line tells that this line will only run when this is true. If I run over, if I run this, it will show working, right? Now imagine if I do less than it, and if I run this, it will not show working, right? The working which is initially over here is not being shown over here, right? So this is the thing, that indentation is like to tell the compiler that this code is part of this line, just like you have done over here. In if condition, you are writing if, then you are writing the condition and colon, and after that you are writing the print statement. Now the print statement should always have some indentation before it. This again, indentation is like to tell the compiler that this statement is a part of it. Let me show you another example. Like for example, now if I want to write the else statement, so if I write else statement over here, see it's showing error. What is the error? the error means if I basically write something like this, it will not work. It will see definitely it just moves over here. Means VS Code automatically moves it over here. And why it moves it over here? Because it tells that, sir, this else block you are writing inside if. But there is a problem. If doesn't work, then only I have to run else. So to run else, I have to leave no space over here. And how much indentation you should do? You should have a, I can say, 4 times tab press. Means press the tab 2 or 4 times, then you have a perfect indentation over here. So to execute else statement, also I should write print not working, right? So what happens if runs less than 8? It's not the condition. So this else is independent of if in indentation terms. Otherwise this else is dependent on if. Let me teach you what I am telling. If this if is less than 8, then else will not work. So in that sense it will be dependent. But if this but means this else, if I can say, is inside the if. Is it inside if? So no. Else is not inside if. How can you say it's not inside if? Because there is no indentation left over here. If there are some spaces left over here like this, then see this line. Else gone into if. Now else is totally dependent on if. And we don't want that. Right? So I want else to work if don't work. So in that case, it is independent of if in indentation case. So this is a brief idea on how indentation work. Let me show you. It will print not working. Yeah, see, it's printing not working. If I do greater than, then it will print working, right? So this is how your indentation work. Now let's move to our next topic. The next topic is to make a calculator. So let's make a calculator. Let me just delete all this. For calculator, we are taking two variables. X means two variable calculator we are going to make. So first we will take X, and now I want you to input something. Means I want the user to put the value in calculator. When we go, the user used to type something, right? So let the input be something like enter value of X. I will teach you what I have written. So what this line means. Now input obviously tells that you have to input some value in your terminal. For example, let me just show and run away it. So see, it's asking for some value. It don't do anything because we have not run any type of functionalities. So basically it's asking us the value that you give the value. So I've given the value 34, and that 34 value will got store in X. Again, another thing, input when takes the value, it takes the value in a form of string. For example, if I write print type and then X, now if I just run this code, so if I, for example, though I am writing integer value 34, it will print a class of string. Means input will store the value in a form of string. How can you add two strings? That's not, means that's possible, but that's not logical, right? So that's why we are doing typecasting over here. Typecasting means I will write int over here. What will it do? Means, sorry, I will write something like this. Now, what is this happening? And just first let me show you what's happening. So now if I write 34 over here, it's showing int. So what's the magic here happening? Now, Python have special functionalities like integer, then float, then string, then characters, and many more for that data types. So you want your input value, which is in string, to convert it into integer. So for that's why I have written int, and in brackets, let me just write this one more time. And in brackets, I have written, you will write a value that you want to convert it into string. So this much. So once you write this, it will convert what the value stored in it into a integer value. So let me just help you with that. So if I write something like this, so it will convert this into integer value, and if I run this over here, so again it will show me a integer value. Similarly, we can do it for string. 1 minute. Yeah. So we are talking that similarly we can do it for string, right? But the issue is, if I do it for string, will it work? It will not work because you can't convert a value into a string. Why? Because this value is already providing you string. When input gives you output, it stores the value into X. It's storing in the form of string. So it's not good to go with it. So let me just delete all this. So once you know that what to do, so let me convert this value of X into string, and for better editing purpose we can do something like this. Similarly, we store the value in X, again int, again I will write input, then enter the value in Y, right? So after then there are some operators in Java. One operator is plus, another is minus, another is multiply, and another is divide. These are the prominent operator. There is also a modulo. There is also a double one, means double divider, or I can, this is not a double divider. I personally spoke it like that. I will tell each of its use case in a near one. So first let me make some good calculator. So if now I will write some values. So there is also a boolean data type. Let me tell you, if you want, for example, addition over here, so what you have to do, X plus Y, right? Now remove this type. If you want to do addition over here, what will you do? X plus Y. Now let me show you how it's working. So X 45, Y 67. It's done the addition. It's amazing, right? And now what's happening? I will tell you once again. This input will store the value in int in X. Again, input Y will store the value int in Y. Both the values got added and stored into the X and Y. After that, in addition will occur over here, X plus Y, that will be 45 plus 67, that is 112, and that statement will be printed over here. Similarly, we can do multiplication. So again, in multiplication, let the value be 3 and 2, so it will be 6. Then we can also do something like division over here. So let me tell you, 4 and 2, so answer will be 2.0. Now here where there are two difference between this and this, now let me tell you what. So this, when X and divided by Y, it will give us the float value. Whereas if we want integer value, we don't want float value, right? We write all the things in integer, so we want integer value. In previous cases we get integer, but here we'll get the float value. So to get the float value in Python, we will write something like this. So get the integer value in Python, we will write something like this. So again, let me say 4 into C. Now we'll get the integer value. Then let's say modulo operator. So how will you run the modulo operator is, let's say 5, no, not 10. And again, now modulo gives us the remainder, right? So no, it should be 1. Yeah. So it's giving us the answer as 1. So this is how we are going to work with this modulo, this divide, this multiplication and addition, all these operators. So till now we have learned two variables are there, what the variables are, then what is dynamic typing, then what is indentation. In indentation we learn if else statements, then we run some of the operators, plus minus subtraction and